Are you tired of feeling like a victim of circumstance, unable to break free from the confines of your reality? What if I told you that the key to unlocking your full potential lies within your own mind? In this video, we explore the power of your inner world and how mastering your thoughts can help you shape the life you want to live. Get ready to transform your perspective and tap into your true potential. If you're yearning to unlock the hidden connection between your internal world and boundless potential, I urge you to open yourself up and truly listen. By doing so, you'll gain insight into how to make real any dream or ambition. Our consciousness is ever evolving, oscillating between our past and future experiences. We typically respond rather than take action in this state of perpetual searching for ourselves. Therefore, since simply being does not illuminate the path ahead of us, we must depend on stimuli from outside sources to aid in furthering our learning process. If you, the listener, are not experiencing success, you may be struggling with sickness or suffering. This is often because you have deeply ingrained the idea of failure, illness, and pain into your consciousness. Once these notions become unconscious beliefs, they shape the pattern of what you manifest in your life. Such a mindset can ensnare the soul in agony, and the body will fully reflect this state of being. The power of imagination can be your ticket out of the chains of suffering. Imagine in your mind what you want, and do not visualize any other images besides these, even if they are the opposite of what external stimuli may impose on you. In this way, whatever vision you have will eventually become true for you, instead of falling into a cycle set by someone else's standards. Imagination truly holds the key to manifesting a life that aligns with all that matters to us. As we become consciously aware of ourselves, our form begins to manifest in a way that reflects this newfound understanding. When one's comprehension transcends the boundaries of sensory experience and ego-driven behavior, they will start their journey towards becoming more like their higher self and twin flame, who remain emotionally connected to the source of all creation. A single consciousness pervades the universe, present in each of us and accessible when we move into our genuine being, transcending limitations imposed by physical form. The universal mind resides at the core of all that exists, permeating everything and embracing all. The consciousness of a sleeping individual conforms to the constraints imposed by the self-knowledge acquired through their senses. However, by expanding one's comprehension beyond the five senses, one can break free from the bondage of the body and mind. So why delay any longer? Awaken. Our beliefs form the mental origins of all that we do, as our actions stem from these deeply ingrained convictions. Consequently, the world we inhabit is molded by the patterns of our beliefs. If you want to change the external circumstances of your life, you have to start by transforming your inner environment, breaking away from the pressure of external stimuli coming through the five senses. As soon as we change our perspective and change the way we perceive things, everything else will follow. When perception changes, the world around us changes too. To break from the hardships of life, it is important to tap into imagination and make use of its vast potential. By using this power, you can strengthen your resolve against external influences that bring about feelings of dissatisfaction and anguish. Training your mind in such a manner unlocks true liberation and joy. He who holds the power to envision and dream beyond what can be perceived with their physical eyes will take sovereign control of their destiny. Undoubtedly, the majority of individuals merely survive in this world. They fail to genuinely live and instead exist as predictable machines, responding rather than initiating action. It is a paradoxical sight for God to behold, as people who believe they are autonomous are, in fact, akin to robots who are controlled by the thoughts they sowed in the past, without ever realizing it. They truly have the belief that their current actions are the result of their voluntary choices. However, whenever an embodied consciousness awakens and God smiles, our lives are meant to be more than mere existence. We need to push ourselves and go beyond our current state. This can only be achieved by looking within and awakening to higher levels of consciousness. As humans, we often neglect to examine our inner selves until we are faced with hardship. Perhaps this is because, as the saying goes, fine wine is produced from grapes that have undergone significant pressure in the crushing process. This life obeys the two central commandments, to be and to become. Some people stick to being and put on doing to have. Others become in the meantime. A soul that has awakened strives to seek knowledge, experience growth, and continually expand. Failing to do so would be tantamount to allowing the soul to become ensnared in the trap of ego reactivity, which is characterized by a fear of pain, suffering, failure, and death. On the other hand, a man who lives unconsciously and merely reacts to external stimuli is at the mercy of every alteration in his surroundings. He oscillates between happiness, sadness, triumph, and defeat, constantly being influenced by others, but never exerting any influence himself. As the sleeping man drifts through life, surrounded by his own perceptions and the fluctuations of daily existence, he may remain oblivious for years. But one day soon pain will overwhelm joy. Then he'll see that his ego is nothing more than a fabrication created by outer influences. Such is the truth when reality strikes. Pain can cause us to steer our attention away from the outside world and contemplate self-knowledge, control, and growth. Through this process of suffering, we become conscious of the incredible potential that lies within ourselves to embrace life's miraculous gift, consciousness itself. Mastery over one's own life is acquired not by dominance over tangible objects, but rather through mental insight of their underlying purpose in nature. A wise person does not attempt to mold the world to fit their individual preferences or coerce events to conform to their desires. Instead, they aspire to attain a greater sense of purpose and consciousness, which allows them to discern the hidden causes behind all things. The sage moves with ease through even the most precarious moments, as their mental strength enables them to exert control over the universe, which guides them in the fulfillment of their missions. The vast mental power of the universal mind can be conceptualized and depicted in any manner one prefers. The critical thing is to recognize its existence, gain a basic understanding of its functionality, and acquire knowledge about our connection to it. For instance, we may liken it to an enormous electromagnetic field. This analogy aids in comprehending all conscious life forms. Subsequently, there would exist smaller electromagnetic fields within the overarching electromagnetic field, which would find their respective positions within it, according to their unique type and quality. The surface mind, what psychologists refer to as the ego-all, has become a villain in our current human life. However, it was not meant this way. Its purpose originally being an instrument of the soul so that they could experience feelings of separation while existing on earth. We've allowed our egos to run rampant due to our worries and desires. As a species, we are advanced enough to recognize our individuality and uniqueness, yet when we look in the mirror, all we see is ourselves in a physical form. We concern ourselves with the well-being of this animal and how it relates to the world, but don't understand what lies beneath, the secret self concealed by its own struggles and fantasies. Despite being concealed, overlooked, or baffling at times, the secret self guides us through life's journey and determines our fate based on human nature and desires. Deep down, our true essence is neither the ego nor the sensory self. Instead, these are merely masks we put on while assuming the various roles required of us in life. Our true selves are untouchable, strong, and infinite. We come from an abundant source of life energy that cannot be depleted. When we recognize our origin in this power, a force greater than ourselves will permeate through our daily lives like never before, transforming them in the most wondrous ways imaginable. When we limit our divine birthright with intellectual and spiritual constraints in the form of restrictive beliefs or dogmas, stagnation and suffering are inevitable. If we limit ourselves to reacting to what our senses see from the outside world, we are doomed to stay at the mercy of whatever fate befalls us. Our actions are limited to the physical world, because of our response to external stimuli. Whether we are scared, excited, saddened, we feel overwhelmed by every emotion life throws at us. Our inner calm and equilibrium are always at the mercy of an elusive force beyond our comprehension and power. We are mere marionettes, tossed about in the tempest of existence, akin to leaves being carried by the breeze. Only when we pause in our frenzied haste and recognize that our actions are not a result of our volition but instead a reaction to external stimuli, can we begin to break free from these shackles. This realization marks the initial stride towards liberation. Only those who have tasted slavery may strive to be free, just as only those who have known chains can attain full independence. You don't have to be a mystic, philosopher, or pessimist to tap into the spiritual realm of our lives. We all contain within us a divine power that provides absolute freedom and gives us control over our lives. Through this inner strength, we can envision anything with just the use of imagination. From becoming something greater than ourselves to attracting whatever life has to offer. The substance of our psyche possesses a distinctive character and caliber that reacts to the configuration of mental images by producing a corresponding manifestation that can be detected by our senses. This implies that any mental image we conceive is inevitably destined to materialize in the physical world. Our lives are shaped by the images we conjure in our minds. The way we think ultimately shapes how we live, and no amount of force or ambition can alter that truth. Only what lies deep within us has the power to do so. It is both remarkable and sorrowful to witness countless individuals whose cognitive mechanisms persist in producing outcomes they claim to abhor. They bemoan their financial destitution, despite acknowledging that their grievances will not lead to prosperity. In actuality, their fixation on their hardships only perpetuates their misery. Similarly, they lament their unpopularity, although this truly signifies their own lack of affection for others on a psychological level. They are hesitant to engage in imaginative thinking and are consumed by anxiety, agitation, and a distorted perception of reality. The fundamental principle that governs existence is the pursuit of a sound mind and body. Every experience, be it positive or negative, is a manifestation of the mental images we uphold in our consciousness. The question then arises, who bears accountability for the mental imagery that defines our reality? Certainly not me. Embrace wisdom and develop a deep understanding of your internal world. Your surroundings will reflect what's inside you, since you are not merely souls, but rather embodied souls. So it is time to view yourself through the prism that acknowledges this truth, that our bodies and our spirits form an inseparable whole. Dare to be wise. In conclusion, this video illustrates the powerful influence our inner world has on our external environment. By accepting responsibility for our mental images and embracing who we truly are as embodied souls, we can access the power of thought to create the life we choose. Seeking knowledge and self-mastery unlocks a path to satisfaction and purpose. This information can encourage you to take control of your thought process and reach higher levels of awareness. So let's make it happen. Thank you for following us.